All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We're excited you've joined us for today's session on Irresistible Mail. A few housekeeping details before we get started. This session is being recorded, and you should receive a link to the recording and a PDF of the slides tomorrow by email. Please feel free to share this webinar content with colleagues that could not attend today. A question and answer session will immediately follow the presentation. If you have a question for our speaker, please type it into the questions box in your GoToWebinar panel on the right side of your screen. This webinar is hosted and sponsored by Suttle-Straus. Suttle-Straus was founded in 1910, and over 100 years our company has built up the equipment and expertise to handle almost any print or mail project. We offer creative graphic design services, web, sheet-fed, and digital printing, wide format printing, direct and transactional mail, a print-on-demand technology for distributed networks, along with kitting and fulfillment. For more information, please visit us on the web at Suttle-Straus.com. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, an experienced shipping, mailing, and marketing professional. Jo Eichelberger began her postal career back in 1984 as a clerk and later became a city letter carrier. In 1997, she was appointed to her first postmaster position and continued to work in operations over the next 17 years. She joined the headquarters sales team for the Hawkeye District in 2011 and was promoted to the Business Alliance team as a specialist in January 2017. Jo, I'm going to make you the presenter and hand it over to you, and you can take it away.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first I want to thank Megan and Suttle-Straus for having me here with you guys today. It's always exciting to talk about mail of any kind, especially after 35 years of living in the world of direct mail and package shipping. I am excited to share some of this information with you all today. We started a Irresistible Mail program a few years ago, actually, where we had a couple of different books, catalogs made with different substrates, different inks, overlays, different things like that within the book to show our customers exactly what can be done with mail. 2 years ago, in 2017, they came up with the Irresistible Mail trademark and made a portfolio of all different samples that actually contain the mail pieces. So this Irresistible Mail program has been around for a little while, but it just continues to grow. It's an excellent opportunity to bring new value to mail and to marry that mail to the digital world. Today we're going to discuss things like the mail moment. We've done some research on how people respond to mail and when and how important it is to them. We have also got statistics from other organizations such as Direct Marketing Association and some of those who have also done some studies. And we are always happy to learn that people still value their mail. We'll talk about the Irresistible Mail program and some of the features and benefits of having Irresistible Mail. And we'll also go over some of the 2019 mailing incentives. And these incentives are created specifically so that we can encourage our customers to use the new products, to add some technology, to add some innovation to their mail pieces so that they stand out in the mailbox. The nice thing about the incentives is that you get a reduction in postage if your mail piece qualifies for any one of these programs. So we're always excited to have new people getting on board with the new kinds of mail that are available today. As most of you know, and I'm sure everybody who works in the marketing area understand the challenge of marketing clutter. It continues to rise and make positioning of your message in all this data fog essential. There are over 5,000 average, 5,000 is the average number of advertisements and brand exposures that one person may receive in a single day. That is a lot. We've known for a long time that there are more and more advertising coming at us. It continues to grow. 5,000 may be a conservative number by now, but it continues to grow and we all see it. 86 is the average number of ads only that we have some awareness of during the day. So even though these are coming at us, we're not necessarily comprehending all of them or retaining all of them. There are only 12 as the average number that make an impression or actually create engagement from the customer. So out of over 5,000, it's a challenge to stand out and be one of those 12. Consumer media options, this is why we get so many of these today. Over 1 billion websites available online. Apps are at 1.6 million. Actually, that has grown since this slide was made. There are more apps available today than there ever have been, and they continue to create new ones. Television stations are almost 1,400 in count, and commercial radio stations are over 11,000. So with all of this, plus the magazine titles that are out there that, as you know, have a substantial amount of advertising in a magazine, it's no wonder that we are receiving thousands of these messages a day. The great news about all of these media options is this. Everybody has only one mailbox, and when you get something in your mailbox, regardless of what people will tell you, they look at what is in the box. Even if you're only looking at it briefly, so as you're sorting through, it registers with the person getting the mail. We find that people enjoy the mail. They often respond to mail, and all we have to do is experience a winter like we've had this year when the mail couldn't always go through, and we find out just how much people count on their mail. In 2016, we developed a study called the Mail Moment, and the findings on that indicated that 86% of the people surveyed picked up their mail at the first opportunity. 79% of those people sort the mail at the first opportunity, and another 20% sort it later in the same day. I'm a little bit of a mix of those. I pick up my mail, I sort through it right away. I pull out the stuff that really catches my attention, read it immediately, and lay the rest of it aside for me to read at a later time. I think a lot of people do that. The average time spent on sorting through your mail and taking a look at it is 8.4 minutes. When I first read this, I thought that sounded a little bit high. I did some research after I read this study and found out that that included anything that catches your attention that you actually open up and look at. And if you've ever had a real novel mail piece come in your mailbox, you know that you can spend some time taking a look at that mail piece and figuring out how it works or what it's telling you. This is a fun map. This is actually created by a market research for Royal Mail, but we here in the United States fall into the very same pattern. So this is kind of a fun one to look at. You know where you typically take a look at your mail, where you go down and sit down and sort through it, or maybe you stand in the kitchen to sort through it, whatever it may be. But you can see where you fall in this household heat map that shows specifically where people are tending to make sure that their mail gets processed and taken a look at. Direct Marketing Association has a response rate overview here that shows just exactly how contrasting these different medias are. This is a little bit of an older report. It's 2016, so I'm quite sure social media has advanced since that time. There's more of it, but online displays are not going anywhere. They've been kind of stagnant for some time, and paid searches don't seem to be as preferable as they used to be either. So when you take a look at this, the blue line is the household list or the house list. In other words, your existing customer base. When you send direct mail to an existing customer, you get over a 5% response rate, which is excellent compared to other medias that are out there. Even if it's a prospecting list, it's almost 3%. And oftentimes, you know, in other media channels, we're looking at hopefully getting 1% response. So when we look at direct mail and see these high numbers, it really shows you how valued the mail is and how persistent people are in taking a look at their mail daily. The response rate overview also showed the difference that a format makes. There are times when, or there were times, I should say, when we weren't as aware of the format of a mail piece as we are today. Size, shape, colors, the inks that are used, the offers that are made, all of that makes a big difference. But what we noticed too is that in these different metrics, there's quite a spread. They also, the cost per thousand is higher on some of the larger, more dimensional pieces, but they also have the highest response rate. So even though you're investing a little more to make a dimensional type, attention-getting interactive piece, you're also going to get a better ROI on that piece in the end. Also, when it comes to direct mail response rates, these metrics show the direct sale or the lead generation. It's imperative that you have the goal in mind when you set up the campaign. Always make sure you understand if this mail piece is trying to make a sale or if this mail piece is being used to generate a lead. Either way, response rates are good. The house files are always a bit higher than the prospect files, but we also get a very good response rate out of the prospect files as well. This is the age-old question. This has been going around for quite some time. Do our brains process digital and physical media differently? Some of the reports that have been done and the studies that have been shown say that digital ads seize a consumer's attention quicker. I'm sure you've all been online at some time, either on social media, on a website, and anything moving or flashing does get your attention. However, it also shows that physical ads hold your attention longer. Physical ads elicit greater emotional reaction, and they also play more of a direct role in the ultimate purchase decision. So what this is telling us is that if you can hold on to the mail piece, refer back to the mail piece, share it with someone else to get an opinion, all of these things influence your purchase decision. So it makes sense that when you have something tangible in your hand, it's something that you're going to refer back to down the road. Print mail, print as in direct mail, elicits greater internal thinking. I have actually received offers in the mail where I'm thinking when I saw it, I don't really know if I'm interested in that. But once I read the piece, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't even know this. So it can be very rewarding to learn something new. And the way we can target mail today with both demographics or geographics, whichever makes it work for you, you know what your customer looks like. Find those demographics in the new areas that you're trying to market to, and you can actually find that person that looks just like your customer out in other target market areas. Direct mail aligned with people's feelings and emotion and memories, so you can trigger an emotional response in people. Online materials display difficulty in remaining focused. I have so much online interaction anymore that I can understand that difficulty remaining focused. There comes a time when you just feel like you can't get through it all. Online activity fostered greater filtering of irrelevant information to complete the task. So, you know, you can cut through the clutter once you open up an offer in an online offer, but also the screen itself does not allow you to retain the information quite as long as a physical printable piece. Mail to mobile technologies, we have smartphones and tablets, and all of, you know, people are mobile at all times. And all you have to do is go to a shopping center, into a store, unfortunately, even sometimes in your car, you see everybody using their cell phones or taking a look at their digital screen. It's something that has become a habit, and people in America at least are, I don't want to say addicted to it, but certainly make it a part of their life. We can scan QR codes and snap tags, near-field communications and watermarks will serve as part of the scanning technology. We have market-directed marketer directed engagement, which gives people instructions for whatever their call to action might be, asks for reviews, includes additional information on a product or service. It also makes contact where we have a click to call or click to contact us type customer service. You can play games and sweepstakes. People love games and sweepstakes. As we've all seen, video games are a big deal, and now they're incorporating those options into some of the mail pieces that allow somebody to actually get involved. You can make purchases online, bill pay online, authenticate a signature, account logins, coupons, loyalty cards. They're all related to a mail piece that has mobile technology attached to it. Also, you can share it through all of the different social media apps that are available today. And as we know, people do it on a regular basis. Everybody is tied together one way or another to get the message across. This is an augmented reality piece that we have in our Irresistible book, and I'd like to play this video for you for just a minute. It's just a little over a minute long, so you can see some of the samples here that we have in the Irresistible book.
I'll say sometimes videos don't come across well on GoToWebinar. I've put a link in the chat. All these videos are on the irresistiblemail.com/gallery if you want to go back to them in the future and review them in more detail or get the information on these. So, Joe, this piece is a near-field communication, and you basically hold your tablet over the mail piece, and you can interact with it, right?
Right. This is actually an augmented reality piece.
So if people have heard of Pokemon Go, that's an augmented reality game. Basically, you hold your phone up and Pokemon appear in your neighborhood using the same technology.
When this first started out, all of the apps that were created to scan the augmented reality had you hold your mobile device over the mail piece or over the scanning insignia, and you had to hold it there to get the full video effect. Now there are actually some apps out there that allow you to scan that and then sit back and take a look at your mobile device without having to hold it in place with the mail piece behind it. So there's been quite a lot of development in the technology over the last few years.
Interesting.
So when it comes to ScanLife, these two are 2015 statistics, but what we've found in the statistics being offered is that it continues to grow. Every year since 2015, the scanning and barcoding of different pieces and how people receive or are receptive to that has continued to grow. And interestingly enough, customers have learned that scanning is often the shortest route to the biggest savings when it comes to being able to transact with the companies that are sending these offers out to them. It helps them to make product choices. We've got different catalogers that will actually allow you to scan an item in their catalog and then hold it up in your room, whatever room you're standing in. If they're selling you a couch, you scan it, you look at it, and you can see how the couch looks in your own living room. So all of these different technologies have come to the point where they're almost commonplace now. More and more people are using them. And what we found, which is kind of interesting, is that the age group ranges from 25 to 55, and the percentages don't vary a whole lot. Everybody, all age groups are being involved with these We had a study at one time that told us, just a few years ago, they did a study by Direct Marketing Association, and they said that the generation that values mail the most is the seniors, which makes sense because they've had mail the longest, and they also probably use less technology as a group than any other age group. But what I was surprised to learn was that the second age group that most values mail is the millennials. Millennials value mail for a few reasons. One of them is because they have always had exposure to screens, and it's nice to have something tangible, shareable, readable in their hand. But also, it's an age where they're often just coming around to getting their own mail for the very first time. They've been around their parents' mail, which they find boring and uninteresting, but when it comes in their own mailbox with their own name on it, it all of a sudden gains value because they're interested to see who's trying to communicate with them and what their offer might be. Mail drives customers online, and along with a lot of different print options, we can always get people to come to your online presence by getting to the mailbox. It's very difficult in this day and age to get everybody's email address. If you're not already a customer, you probably aren't going to have a whole lot of success in finding new email addresses. But you can get their physical address, send them an offer that allows them to register on your website and include their email address, and now you've got two methods available to use. 92% driven to online or digital activity. That's a high percentage. People are reacting to what they're getting in the mail, especially if there's something interactive that they can do to reach more information. These statistics are pretty interesting. 54% engaged in social media. I'm sure that number is much higher now. The social media sites continue to grow. They keep adding others on, and I don't use them a whole lot myself, but I have found value in them because of offers I get in the mail from my informed delivery, asking me for a call to action, different things like that. So everybody is kind of growing in that. If you've never been a social media engaged person in the past, you may be in the future, because there's all kinds of things coming available through online sites that are starting to we're starting to realize affect more about our lives than we first thought. The mail moment planning formula. Your creative has 3 seconds, just 3 seconds to gain a prospect's attention. That's not very long. It's one of those things where if you can stand out in the mailbox when they flip open that box and start going through the mail, you've got 3 seconds to grab their attention. 12 more seconds it takes for them to comprehend who you are and what offer is being made. So that's a very brief time in the aspect of things to try to get a customer, to get their attention and their engagement, so that they proceed to open the mail piece, read a little bit more about what you're offering, and talk a little bit, or take the time to understand exactly what the offer is making and what it might mean to them in the end. One of the things that I'd like to talk about today is our program called Share Mail. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Share Mail. We used to call it our alternative postage, but it's a concept that works well. And in this day and age of trying to get your own message to stand out and be noticed out of the crowd, Share Mail is a great way to do that. And the reason is it's a convenient way for your customers, stores, or business partners to send a single piece first-class letter. You pay for the postage on the piece that goes between any 2 or 3 other parties. This is something that we have, like I said, we've had it around for a while, but it's becoming more and more popular. During the election of 2016, many of the candidates use this, and how they do it is they send a marketing mail piece to somebody who is in their party already or who is a known supporter of the candidate. And in that mail piece, they will include some postcards that say, this candidate's going to speak at this place. Now, if I get one of those in the mail from one of my friends, I am much more apt to go than if I get it from a political party or an unknown source to me prior to getting the mail piece. So when it comes to nonprofit organizations that can be influenced by friends and family as to who their giving is coming from and going to, these things have been very successful. One of the Irresistible Mail pieces, the samples that we had in our 2017 portfolio, is this Cirque du Soleil, or Cirque du Lune, I guess it is. The mail piece that is in the packet is this part that says Cirque du Lune on it, is actually the outer cover. It's like a real thin, small box. And the mail pieces themselves, the purple one you see out front, is the message to the customer, the existing customer. But those other three pieces that look like a deck of cards are actually postcards that can be addressed to with a name and address on the opposite side, dropped in a mailbox anywhere, and the postage is paid when the barcode goes through our processing sorters. So it makes it really easy to get knowledge out there about your piece by going through the customers that already love you. These production notes on this piece, we have these available for every piece that's in the Irresistible Mail portfolio. So if you see something that you'd like to replicate or to work off of, we can get you the production notes for that specific piece so that it kind of eliminates the reinventing the wheel process and kind of helps you out to have an inside track of what works. Share Mail can deliver a mail version of social networking. A lot of people call this social networking because if I have something I love and I think somebody else would be interested in it, it gives me a perfect opportunity to spread that word, and it costs me nothing. A good example that I've had personally with this, we got a puppy a couple years ago, and one of my friends had just put in invisible fencing in her yard, and I asked her about it, and she told me where she got it and who came and installed it, and I was so surprised that the provider was like 2 hours away. So in that, I was concerned a little bit about how far away they were, so I asked a few other friends I knew that had invincible fencing, because I know there are people that provide it around me. And all of them had come from this same location, 2 hours away, as opposed to somebody on the local level. So I found that quite interesting, and couldn't quite figure it out until I got a share mail piece in the mail. And what had happened was the company that put her fence in sent her a thank you letter. And in that included some postcards that she could share with her friends. And for every person that signed up or bought fencing through them, she got a discount on her replacement products or anything that she might be interested in. And it also offered the person that signed up under her a referral discount as well. So I thought, just a very perfect example of how these can be used. They can also be used in retail stores. If I shop a retail store on a regular basis, we've had them set them up at the front counter, and when you go to check out, you can pick up 2 or 3 cards, send them to your friends saying, I love this place, check it out, and boom, you've got new customers coming through your door. So a lot of different options available with Share Mail. It has also been a part of our promotions every year, but the promotion that it is in, the registration period is actually passed for this year. But if you're looking at doing this for next year when the promotions come out, the earned value is business reply mail, it's courtesy reply mail, and it also includes share mail. So you can get a discounted rate on your share mail if you sign up and mail during the promotional period. Various share mail models, you can do business to consumer. In other words, if just the example I gave, if I am a supplier to a store, I send my cards to the store gives it to their consumers, and now I've got new customers using my product. Business to consumer, and business to consumer is getting a little deep, but it can transact just that way. Features of the alternate postage is that you send from multiple locations to multiple locations. It includes your company brand or logo for free. Everything is branded that you put inside your mail piece, so you get to get your logo and your company brand in front of people you've never met yet, but your customers know. Obtain tracking information via the barcode. The barcodes on this, the chargeback, will help you to calculate your ROI on a SureMail piece. And then you can also include digital technology such as QR codes and that kind of thing on the piece, so customers can go to your website, go to your social media page, wherever it may be you want to send them, so that they can learn more about you and your product or service. All you need to do to set up a mail piece is the design is simple. The facing identification mark is what tells our machines what kind of mail it is. You have to have a permit imprint for the postage paid, or a picture permit imprint that shows the postage has been paid. And of course, the intelligent mail barcode is how our machines read the service that you're using and how the chargeback actually happens to your account. The mail moment planning formula, I'm sure all of you have seen this before. There's been different proportions over the years as they've changed this around, but creative, a list, and your offer are the elements. Your offer is always the biggest persuasive part of it, typically. The list is important, but as we've seen in some of the statistics that show response rates, sometimes a prospecting list can be just as valuable as an in-house list. So this is how it balances out when we talk about the mail moment. One of the things that you want to keep in mind about the mail moment is that clarity will always trump cleverness. These mail pieces are fascinating. I have several I've collected over the years that are just very impressive. Anything from a slide out to a multiple fold piece to something that pops into a box. I had a realtor that did a really cool one that had, it popped into a little house, and on each side of the house was a new address for a open house that was scheduled in the next month in the neighborhood where they were advertising too. So it was just, it's quite impressive to have all of these different technologies and materials available. However, it needs to be clear and it needs to be concise. And what happens is with the right planning, you can make it just that valuable to your customer. Again, when paper meets pixels, they converge, and it's irresistible. Irresistible mail is proving over and over again that people are interested and entertained by what they get in the mail. I can remember 15 years ago, we heard a lot from the public about, oh my goodness, with the internet and all the social media and all of the things that are coming, you know, mail's going to be a dinosaur. It's going to be gone. You guys are going to be out of business. And quite frankly, we were concerned. We thought too it could happen. But what we've learned over time is that these new technologies and the new print applications and the new papers that are used, they're all intriguing. People find them fascinating. And we see more and more of it happening in today's mail. So I wanted to touch on the 2019 mailing promotions just a little bit. These promotions are designed with one major purpose in mind, and that is so that you can understand how this technology or how this new mail piece, these folds, these flips, whatever your mail piece design is, can make an impact on your customer. So if you create a piece that qualifies for one of these programs, you'll get a 2% discount back on your postage that saves. In other words, you're getting your message out for a little lesser cost than you would normally just by using the new ideas that are available. This is the promotions calendar that we have. This one up here at the top is the earned value that I said the registration has already closed and the promotional period is going on right now. It will end next month at the end of the month, and this is a value that is paid back after the program. It counts the number of courtesy reply, business reply, or share mail pieces that your account has going through the system during the promotional period, and then you get that percentage, the discounted percentage back. I think this year it's 2%. We've had it as much as 3% some years, and we've also offered 5% for people, new customers, to try these things. So you can take a look at that for next year and determine if you're interested in any one of those products, if that is a fit for you and your customer base. So the next one is the personalized color promo. This encourages first-class mailers to use personalized color in their messaging on bills and statements. What we've learned over the years is that by adding color to a regular bill that has normally been in black and white, it creates an interest, and people retain it longer. The message itself, they retain it longer, and they respond to it quicker when there's something that is attractive and attention-getting on there. Mailers who have not participated in this before can use the colored ink and get the discount during the promotional period. Anyone who has been in this program before, because we have had it a few years in a row, you need to do not only the color trends promo, but also the personalization. If your mail pieces are personalized with color, then you also will get the discounted rate. Another one that is going on right now is the emerging and advanced technologies. The registration period goes through the end of August, and the promotion started in March 1st and goes through the end of August as well. These are pieces that have to be sent for approval to the program committee. There's instructions on Postal Pro on how to, all that is entailed in getting registered and eligible for these programs. The emerging and advanced technology, that will include the near field communications, the augmented reality, those types of things that make it a little more complex, more complex piece. Informed delivery, we've not had this on here before. Informed delivery is, we've got over 16 million subscribers now. We have over 13 million of those that get the email notification every day so they can see what's in the mail. And you can do an integrated campaign that allows you to link your mail piece from their email that they received to your website or social media page, and have a call to action that they can actually complete right from their phone when they see their email notification. Tactile sensory interactive engagement. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we had a webinar on informed delivery in March. I just put a link to that. It's available on demand in the chat window. So if you want to go back and check out more on informed delivery, that's a resource for you there.
Okay, great. So tactile, sensory, and interactive is what we've been kind of talking about with the substrates, with the different inks, with the different folds, with the different interaction of the piece itself. And then mobile shopping is any kind of advertising you're doing that you can include a call to action like a barcode, a QR code, anything that a customer can scan, go to your mobilized site and actually make a transaction. In other words, make a purchase of an item that gets shipped to them. It will qualify for the mobile shopping. So it's quite a unique way of getting customers, more than one touch to the same customer. The postage discount for the color trends promo promotion is 2%. This shows you the dates that you have available to register and the promotion. You want to allow at least a few days before the end of the promotion to get your mail piece accepted and approved. So it does take a little bit of time. Usually they respond back in less than 4 days, but you know, if you're a week out from the date you're going to be mailing, you're probably going to get your response back in good time. Having said that, you don't want to wait until the day before and then decide to add the promotion to your mix, because you won't be able to get it registered and approved in that length of time. The emerging and advanced technologies, this is another that I talked about a while ago, that have the enhanced augmented reality video and print. That's getting to be very big, where you can actually scan a piece and watch the video. Nothing works better than a captive audience. And when people scan something that runs a video, very rarely do they stop before the end of the video is complete. So you can get you can actually get them involved with your offer, or your, hear your spiel, whatever you might want it to be, just by having a video and print on your piece. Here is another virtual reality that video I'd like to show you, a little over a minute long. And like I say, these do have sound to them. If you go to the website and pick them up, you'll get sound with them. I could not get the sound to transfer into my my PowerPoint today. So take a look at this one.
So in this campaign, they included a virtual reality viewer, which shipped flat, but then you saw they could assemble it together and put their phone in. And this is the experience when they're looking through those little goggles right on the phone.
Right. Okay. Quite interesting and so much fun. I've actually gotten one or two of these in the mail, and it's entertaining. I share it with everybody. It's really fun to get something like this. So when my vendor is reaching out to me with something like this, there are times when I've shared it with at least 10 other people that have never done business with that company before. So that's kind of an interesting concept and a great way to spread the word. The informed delivery promotion for this year, like I said, we've had informed delivery now for a while. The campaign has not changed for this promotion. It takes about 3 minutes to set up an informed delivery campaign online at the campaign portal. And once it's entered, what it does is notify the mailer through that email access or through our dashboard that they have a mail, whatever their mail piece coming, this is it. You can, instead of the grayscale scans that we provide from our processing machines, you can make this full color. You can add the ride-along campaign. You can do either or both. You can also do flats. We do not scan flats the way we do letters in our system, but if you've got a flat going through, say, a catalog or something, and you want an informed delivery campaign developed, you can take an image of that flat piece, upload it with the program details, and you can actually make an informed delivery promotion from that. So this year, during the promotional period, if you get registered for the program and you send an informed delivery interactive campaign out during that time, you will also get a discount on your mailing. The nice part about this is it doesn't matter if you've done informed delivery campaigns in the past or how many you've already done. Any that you enter during this period will get the discount as well. The following steps are what must be completed. This tells you where to find the information. Business Customer Gateway is the registration location. You submit a PDF and to the ID promotion office to make sure that all 3 elements that are required are on your mail piece. And then you go to the informed delivery portal where you can get the campaign set up once you're approved. So very simple and easy to do. When we first started working with informed delivery, I had a company that would have 1 or 2 people full time to talk to customers about informed delivery and set up their campaigns. The concept was they thought it would take about 20 or 30 minutes for every campaign. most of everybody I know that is, once they start entering, can enter a campaign in 3 to 5 minutes. It takes next to no time, and you get reports back at the end of that that allow you to have some of your consumer data you wouldn't have had otherwise. So very, very valuable to the mailer to get the informed delivery interaction plus the corresponding reports at the end of the campaign. This tactile, sensory, and interactive piece, I've talked a little bit about these already. This is my very favorite. I love these mail pieces. I think they're entertaining. I think they're fascinating how creative people can be. I've had postcards come that have 9-way folds that you just, every time you fold it, it comes up with a different side and it has a different message on each side. And, you know, I go over and over those just because I think they're just fascinating, and they're proving to have a very high ROI. So apparently I'm not alone in that. Everybody finds them fascinating. And for that, I've got another texture piece that I'd like to share with you and show you. This also is in the Irresistible Mail portfolio, and it is quite simple, but very doable. Whoops, let's go back here. There we go. Okay, there again, and when you watch that, and if you go to the Postal Pro link, it actually has sound to it as well, and you can hear the little gecko fellow down there, gecko fellow, making his little noises during the video. So mobile shopping is the marketing promotion we talked about already. It's a 2% discount. This is the part that you want to pay attention to. Mobile optimized shopping website. Make sure that you have a mobile optimized option on your website so that it will qualify for this promotion. Again, the customer does need to be able to make a purchase at your site, so the mobile shopping will be available to you. USPS mailing promotions, you can put them to work for you and your business to see the benefits of what they do. They boost customer engagement. They reach more people per piece than ever before. It gives a lift to omni-channel results. We have statistics that show that for every type of channel that you use, if you add a mail piece to it, it will provide some type of lift, whether it be TV, radio, social media, whatever you might choose to use. It helps to drive sales, and you can follow all of the requirements to participate by going to the Postal Pro website. The next steps for you to get started on something like this is your creative brainstorming. Try to figure out what it is you want to do, how you want your mail piece to be set aside or stand out. And we also encourage you to get registered for the incentives. Make sure you register early if you can, because once the registration period closes, your mail piece isn't going to qualify anyway. So even if you're not sure, if you've got a mail piece that can be approved, send it in, get it registered, and then you can determine, just how involved you want it to be with informed delivery or anything else. One thing to remember about these promotions, if your mail piece qualifies for more than one of these, you still only get the 2% discount. You can't pile them on to one single mail piece. So even if you have more than one qualifier in there, you'll get the 2% discount for the mailing. And I want to thank you for listening and for being here today. I hope I can answer any of your questions that you might have.
Thank you, Joe, for that informative presentation. We will now open it up for questions. If you have a question for Joe, please type it into the questions box in your GoToWebinar panel on the right side of your screen. While everyone's submitting questions, I wanted to remind you that this webinar has been sponsored by Suttle-Straus. If you're looking for a trusted vendor to help guide you through your next print or mailing project, please consider us and request a quote at Suttle-Straus.com. We have a question from Emily about the informed delivery promotion. She said, can we be in the promotion if we try it before September? For example, if I run it on a mailing in July, can I still get the incentive if I do it again in the fall?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
There's
I think
no
you would.
limit to that.
Right, and I think you'd want to try it at least one time before before doing right? Get some practice under your belt.
It's a good thing to do if you can do it ahead of time, but the incentive is basically to get people to try it. So we know that there'll be people signing up for the very first time during the promotional period, getting registered and using it for the first time during the promotional period. But it's open to any mailers that have ever used it before. All you have to do is get your mail piece accepted and register, and then you're set up your campaign as usual.
Great. Joe, are there any other resources out there that you recommend for people brainstorming new mail ideas?
Well, there's quite a few, I would think. Target Marketing has got some really interesting stuff. They do the 60-second fold of the week, I think comes from them. There's several, IWCO, if you go to their website, they have different articles and success stories that are available. Just about anybody that's in the direct mail marketing business can give you examples of what works or what they've done that works. We are not allowed to give out live mail samples simply because of the Privacy Express statutes and because the mail piece itself is considered proprietary. But a lot of the companies that have created those pieces have gotten consent and approval from their customer to use those as their samples.
Great. I posted in the chat a link to our direct mail Pinterest board if you want to see some of the things we've produced both for ourselves and our customers. So check out that link. All right, and a question from Clint says, do you know if the USPS sees an uptick in volume with marketing mail from incentives such as the tactile and sensory?
Yes, we have. Well, that's kind of a twofold question. I'm sure you've heard in the press over the years that mail volume is decreasing. That is true. We are losing mail volume. Most of the loss is in the first class realm. And ironically, what we're losing is what is outbound to the customers. Or, excuse me, I've got that backwards. What we're losing is what is the response from the customers, because outbound, companies are still sending billing, they're still sending statements, they're still sending correspondence as first class mail. What we see though is the response back is dropping significantly, like 35%, 1 or 2% in the outbound mail, 35% or in the mid-30s range for the response mail. And I'm a participant in that myself. I get my bills in the mail. I want my bills in the mail. I want that hard copy to see where I'm at and what I've got to pay, what I'm being charged for. But I often pay some of those online. So that's the type of what we have seen in the first class realm. It's the response that goes away because responding can be done through the electronics and the internet access that we have. Having said that, for marketing mail, we have had some decline in recent months, but it tends to follow the economy. We see that these pieces are, the volume of these pieces is growing all the time. We have more and more companies that are jumping into these unique pieces and trying them out, and especially the big players that have name brand recognition and want to continue that. they're getting on board, and so we see more of it. But anytime we have a lax in the mail, it's typically from the small business where maybe they're not mailing as much as they used to, they're not spending the money that they used to, that type of thing.
Right. Charlotte asks, is there any promotions upcoming for share mail that you were talking about?
The one for this year is underway now, so you can't register for it, but typically we repeat these every year in some format. There may be some changes in them or what have you, but normally they will be preparing new incentives and promotions for next year this fall. As soon as we get approval on those from the Board of Governors, then the calendar is created and made. So I don't look for anything to be available till the first of the year, but if you're interested in that, you'll want to take a look at the Postal Pro website, because that's where it will be posted to the public first.
Great. James was asking, in terms of your ROI statistics on direct mail, do corporate directed mailers have the same response rate, I guess B2B compared to B2C?
That's a good question, and I don't know that I can answer that specifically. Most of the stats that we get are across the board. I never really broke it down to see if it's, where the highest range is. I'm not sure I can answer that, but I certainly will look into it if you'd like to find out more.
Great. Well, that's all the time and questions we have today. If you have a question come up you didn't have a chance to ask, you can email them to me at marketing@Suttle-Straus.com, and I can connect you with Jo or get back to you. Everyone should watch their email tomorrow for a link to the recorded presentation and a PDF of the slides. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Jo, for speaking.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.